In my last video, I talked about my old channel, Controversial Topics. It was a channel that was just going over, well, controversial topics. Of course, we went over the first video called Gen Z is the End of Good Humanity. Basically, in that video, I was just kind of talking shit about my own generation. I find it funny looking back at it. But back then, I thought it was really cool. I was like so edgy, you know? But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the second controversial topic I made a video about called coping mechanisms. Um, in my eyes, it's not very controversial looking back at it, but hey, I thought I was pretty badass for making the video then, so let's just get into this.
Coping mechanisms vary from very different things, and that's what today's video is about. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody. I'm your host DJ, and we're back on another controversial topic. This controversial topic today is coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms can vary from very different things. Either you can laugh about it and make jokes about it, or cry about it and bawl about it and never forget about it.
The difference between this video and the first video I made is I actually remember why I made this one. It was around the time that I was really starting to get hate from others that I knew for making jokes about my mother who had passed away a couple years before this. And so I wanted to make a video on it. You know, I wanted to be edgy about it. I still make jokes about my dead mother, but you know, now at least I try to make them like on like theme of what's going on. Like for instance, like at work or something, uh a coworker would tell me like, "Oh, I effed your mom." And I'd be like, "You necrophiliac," because you know a lot of people forget about it a decent amount of the time. It happens in school a lot too. For those of you who don't know, necrophilia is when you are in love with dead people. So it took me explaining a couple times for people to get it. Um, but yeah, I made this video for that reason. I was getting hated on for it, and I wanted to make a controversial topic about it. And just like my last one, I didn't do research. None. So I really had no right to be talking about this, but let's just get back into the video.
For instance, I joke around about it because I feel like the best way to deal with just to deal with death in general is just to joke around about it and just make jokes about it. Because I'm pretty sure my mom would rather see me make jokes about it than cry about it. Very, very much. Anyway, but yeah, sometimes they can get too far, and I'm not going to explain them, as sometimes they can be NSFW.
I do remember back then, I really did not like the whole topic of men's mental health. I didn't care. I didn't think people cared about men's mental health, so I always hid mine, which is why I don't ever mention myself crying about my mother's death. 'Cause I cried about my mother's death a lot, you know? Um, the jokes thing about being NSFW, I don't see how that can, like, jokes about dead people in general aren't necessarily safe for work, but, like, at the same time jokes about my own mother, I feel like don't qualify into this category. You know, it's my mother that I'm talking about. But to be fair, I also really, again, I didn't do much research on these videos, and I would always try to do them like 1 to 2 takes. Unlike now, where I at least take a few takes, depending on how bad the take is. I don't count stuttering. I stutter, it's fine. I don't count like the dead air a lot of the time. If I genuinely can't think of anything to say and I'm just rambling on and I like lose my train of thought, then I'll cut it out, you know. But like dead space and stuff like that, I leave in now. I don't care. Um, but back then I just didn't care. I would just do 1 to 2 takes. You can even hear like the you can't even hear me breathing in. I don't think. But yeah, I also would record this in OBS. I would record my old voice in OBS. Just think about that. Now I obviously do it differently where I'm on CapCut and I'm like watching the gameplay as I talk into the microphone. It's different. But back then I would just hop onto OBS. I would just have the microphone set to like the voice mod thing or whatever for like the deep voice. It's just really weird how I made those old videos. Um I do plan on eventually going over my old videos, like maybe my first ever video, which was an 8 drops into season 8 of Fortnite. I find that to just be really funny. But that was also really bad. It was my first video that I had made in a couple years after I deleted my old channel. So overall, it was pretty bad. Honestly, I'm not even trying. It was very bad. Holy crap! But yeah. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I don't really want to go deeper into this cringe, but if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. See ya.